Time now for our Entre Nous segment, and today is Thanksgiving in the United States. Solange Mougin is here in the studio to break down this American holiday. Solange, firstly, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Now, talk us through what are the basic things one needs to know about this holiday?
Well, it is indeed Turkey Day. So let me start with the menu, and then we'll get into its origins, how the French feel about it, and how Black Friday got linked to it. But first, the food. This may be obvious to some, but interestingly enough, many non-Americans do not know this. On Thanksgiving, there are a number of traditional dishes. There is, of course, the turkey. Some 46 million of them will be eaten on this holiday in the U.S. Now, these are often very, very big birds. Not only do they weigh heavily on household budgets in America, and especially now with inflation, but they also create quite a bit of leftovers and waste. The nonprofit ReFed, they say that the equivalent of 8 million birds are thrown out every year due to so much extra meat. But beyond the bird, or the vegetarian equivalent of tofurkey, there are other staples. Corn, it's often served as cornbread. Stuffing, which is often served as a side dish to decrease salmonella risks. Then there is mashed sweet potatoes. In many families, they're actually served with marshmallows on top. It's very sweet. And of course, there's cranberry sauce. And that isn't even touching the desserts. Here, there are two classics, pecan pie and pumpkin pie. In my household, we do something called a twofer. It's actually a mix of both of them. Now, beyond the food, there are some other basics to know. The date, it is the fourth Thursday of November, and it is the major national holiday for Americans. Now, the Pew Research Center found that 91% of Americans celebrate it. 74% do so with others, and almost just as many travel for these often big family meals. Now, most Americans do not think of this as a religious holiday, but some 65% do say a prayer at the meal, which has to do with its origins, but also the spirit of giving thanks on this day.
Now, so what are the origins of Thanksgiving, Solange?
Well, the tradition of harvest festivals is based in both pagan traditions and in Christianity. And today there are many nations that have similar holidays, from South Korea to Mexico. And in many religions, there are similar celebrations of a plentiful harvest, of giving thanks. As for the United States, the story goes that the first one was in 1621 in Plymouth, which is today's Massachusetts. The myth is that it was a meal shared by the English colonists, the Pilgrims, and the Native American tribe there, the Wampanoag. Now, the story is that it was a meal to thank them for helping the Pilgrims learn the land. Over centuries, there has been much whitewashing and sanitizing of this history. It does not include the disease, the wars, or the decimation of the Native American populations.
Coming together as a family and sharing meals and stuff like that, that's not against, I don't think, anybody's traditional values or what people would want to do. So it is super conflicting, because when you know the history of it and what has been done to our people in the genocide, then you don't want to partake in it because you feel like you're celebrating something that was basically a celebration of your demise as a people.
Now, Thanksgiving did not become a nationwide holiday until Abraham Lincoln received a letter from the mother of Thanksgiving, Sarah Josepha Hale. And she was an editor and writer. And she pleaded for years for Thanksgiving to be a unifying holiday. With the Civil War, Lincoln thought it was a great idea and proclaimed it a national holiday in 1863. But it was held on the last Thursday of November and not on the 4th. That change was made by FDR in 1939. It said he was pressured by the head of the department store, Macy's, to push the date forward so people would have more time to shop for Christmas.
Given that, what you just said, Thanksgiving is about eating, but it's also about shopping, isn't it?
Yeah, according to Pew, 35% of Americans watch sports. Many talk about work and school. And this year, their research found that some 26 plan to talk about the election, with more Trump supporters being enthusiastic about that than Harris ones. They'll also talk about pop culture and watch parades like the Macy's Day Parade with its famous giant balloons. But beyond this, many Americans also shop or get ready to. Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. The legend about this shopping day is that its name comes from shops going out of the red and into the black, or turning a profit. But that's actually not true. The name Black Friday caught on thanks to the Philadelphia police, who would complain about the congestion and overtime that they would have to do as people descended on the city after Thanksgiving and before the Saturday's annual Army-Navy football match.
So talk about the tradition of Black Friday, because it seems to have gotten global, and we notice it here in France too.
Yeah, it's true that Black Friday has become a big marketing thing in France in recent years. And unlike in the U.S., it's often over the entire week. As for Thanksgiving, many people, many French people that I've met don't know much about it. The turkey eating and the family meals they're generally saved for Christmas, but French people are quite enthusiastic when you do invite them to Thanksgiving.
A group of my friends, we all come together and we make turkeys and a bunch of dishes. We go to someone's apartment and we just eat together and have a few drinks of wine.
I think it's because people really want to do something, to rejoice somehow, and to give thanks. French people are coming, South Americans, people from all over the world. They love this holiday. Maybe it's just an excuse to eat, but...
Now, of course, this Thursday here in France is a work day, so much of the cooking and sharing, if you do celebrate it here in France, will be over the weekend. But and many of the Thanksgivings in France that are held are Friendsgivings or a Friends Thanksgiving.
You're making a turkey.
I am.
When are you doing this?
This weekend.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Solange Mougin there.